his wife, his children, hurled it at them until they literally died. And then the Bible says after they were stoned, they lit the family on fire and they were utterly consumed. Please don't think your disobedience only impacts you. 4 things I want to leave with you, 4 dangers of living by sight. The first thing we identify here is that when you try to live by sight, obedience becomes rational. And what that simply means is if I can understand it, God, if what you're telling me makes sense, then I will do it. But as long as I don't understand it, I'm not going to do it. Notice what the Bible says in Joshua chapter 6 and verse 4. Notice what the original instructions were. But keep away from the devoted things so that you will not bring about your own destruction. God told them that when you go and do this, if you do it, there will be repercussions. But the same way Eve was tricked, you won't surely die. And there was not an immediate consequence. Family, y'all, listen. The reason why God does not allow immediate consequence is because all of us would be dead. But the fact that we live on the other side of disobedience is nothing but grace. And God is saying, listen, I'm going to warn you. And then if you just come to me, if Achan would have simply said, y'all, it was me, I did it, I was wrong, God would have extended grace. But because Achan was so hardened in his sin, he lost his life and the life of his children. The first thing was, the reason why Achan couldn't do it because it did not make a whole lot of sense. God, why in the world would we give you all of this gold when you don't need it all? God, you really don't need 10%, do you? I really don't have to retire. I don't have to forgive everybody, God, do I? I don't have to turn every cheek. Every now and then I need to get somebody back. Danger of obedience is when you walk by faith and obedience becomes rational. Point number 2, we mentioned it earlier. When we lose faith and we don't walk by faith, innocent people lose faith and get hurt. How does God deliver us from Jericho, but we lose people in AI? It happens in every church. There will be people that will walk away, not because of bad doctrine, but because of people that are not kind. That are too willing to give up traditions that are not. And so people will end up leaving because they're being hurt and be talked about. And family, I want to make sure that you understand, those souls will be on our head if we're not careful in understanding that each and every one of God's children are precious in his sight. Innocent people lose their lives because of Achan's disobedience. 36 people lost their lives. And unfortunately, the Bible says that these folks had to live without their parents. But even worse than that, Achan desired the world's goods